You may know her as Sinach, the voice behind some of the most soul-stirring gospel songs ever recorded. But what you might not know is just how much she's had to endure behind the scenes. From a near-fatal car accident to being declared dead, by false internet rumors and even whispers of personal turmoil in her marriage, Sinach has walked through the fire. And yet she stands. This is not just the story of a gospel singer. This is the story of a woman who has become a living testimony of resilience, grace, and unshakable faith. Born Osinachi Kalu Okoro Egbu on March 30th, 1972, in Afikpo, South Ebonyi State, Nigeria, Sinach didn't always imagine herself standing before thousands, leading worship and writing music that would be sung in churches across the world. But today, she is celebrated as one of Africa's leading gospel artists, with a career spanning more than 30 years. As a senior worship leader at Christ's Embassy Church, Sinach has led countless into moments of deep worship. Her breakout song, Waymaker, became a global anthem, covered by artists across languages and cultures, solidifying her as a voice not just for Nigeria, but for the world. Behind the worship, however, lies a journey filled with personal battles, unexpected challenges, and moments where even Sinach herself was forced to lean on the very faith she sings about. One of those moments came in June 2025. It was supposed to be just another journey, routine, ordinary. But what happened that day would change everything. While traveling, Sinach and her driver both dozed off behind the wheel. Yes, both of them. For a brief but terrifying moment, no one was in control of the vehicle. In most stories, that ends in tragedy. But Sinach's story took a different turn. Against all odds, the car didn't crash. No injuries, no damage, just the haunting realization of what could have been later. She would describe the experience in one sentence that would echo across social media and worship halls alike. God was not sleeping, or her fans and followers. It wasn't just a miracle, it was a divine message. Falling asleep at the wheel is one of the most common causes of fatal road accidents. Yet, somehow, both Sinach and her driver walked away unscathed. To Sinach, it wasn't coincidence or luck. It was God showing up in the exact moment of human weakness. The vulnerability in her voice when she shared the story struck a chord. Sinach has always kept her private life largely to herself, rarely discussing personal issues publicly. But this was different. This was testimony. This was raw, honest, and powerful. And it came at a time when many were already looking to her music as a lifeline. This wasn't the first time Sinach found herself at the center of rumors and public speculation. Back in April 2022, a different kind of storm hit, one not caused by a car, but by the internet. False reports began circulating online claiming that Sinach had passed away. The rumors came out of nowhere, no credible source, no official statement. Just viral posts on social media platforms like X, creating panic, heartbreak, and confusion. Fans around the world grieved. Tributes poured in. People shared how her songs had carried them through the darkest seasons of their lives. But it was all based on a lie. Sinach was very much alive. Eventually, she addressed the rumors herself, assuring everyone she was well. But by then, the emotional toll had already been felt by her fans, her family, and likely Sinach herself. The false death rumor wasn't just a case of mistaken identity or a bad joke. It was a reflection of how easily misinformation spreads. In today's digital world, it was a cruel reminder that even figures of faith aren't immune to the chaos of online culture. And for someone like Sinach, who rarely opens up publicly, it was an intrusion into a space she's fought to protect, her peace. Yet she handled it with this same grace she brings to her worship. She didn't lash out. She didn't play victim. She simply continued to lead, continued to sing, and reminded the world once again that her life is in God's hands. But even after surviving a near-death experience and navigating false death rumors, another challenge was quietly brewing, one That had nothing to do with the road or social media, but everything to do with the heart. In June 2025, whispers of personal struggle began to surface. A YouTube video started circulating, one that claimed Sinach had made an emotional confession. Though the details were vague, the tone was clear. Something had shifted. It was suggested that the confession had to do with her family, perhaps even her marriage to Pastor Joseph Egbu, with whom she shares a daughter. For years, their partnership had symbolized unity and shared ministry. But now, there were murmurs of strain, possibly rooted in a public confession made by Pastor Egbu himself. Again, no hard facts, just speculation, fragments of statements, and the uncomfortable space between public expectation and private pain. Still, for Sinach, it must have been heavy. To navigate personal challenges while holding the role of worship leader, global icon, and spiritual mentor is a burden few can understand. But somehow, she kept showing up. She didn't air out her grievances online. She didn't drop off the radar. She kept singing. She kept leading. She kept trusting. For her fans, this quiet perseverance spoke volumes. On social media, many rallied behind her with messages of support and prayer. Some speculated, others simply stood in awe of her strength. Because when your entire life is a testimony, even your silence speaks. Throughout it, all through the accident, the false death rumors and the possible cracks in her personal life, Sinach's faith remained her anchor. It was never about avoiding hardship, it was about enduring it with grace. That's the power of Sinach's story. Not just that she survived, but that she chose to testify. She let her experiences, even the painful ones, become ministry. When she sings Waymaker, she's not just performing. She's remembering. When she lifts her hands and declares that God is a miracle worker, she's not quoting scripture. She's speaking from a life that has seen the impossible become reality. In a world where celebrity faith can sometimes feel rehearsed or commodified, Sinach reminds us what it looks like to walk it out for real. Not in perfection, but in persistence. Not without struggle, but with unwavering trust. She is more than a worship leader. She is a wife, a mother, a survivor, and above all, a believer. And in a time where so much feels uncertain, where rumors fly and tragedies unfold, Sinach's life tells a different story. That grace still holds, miracles still happen, and God, is never sleeping.